Happy New Year to you too. How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
Oh yeah, no, I am like ready.
Are you?
Obviously
I've got
ready.
a cold.
Oh, good start. Good start. No, I'm feeling pretty good. Like I actually managed to not do any work over Christmas, which is so unlike me. I don't think I've ever done that before, ever. And so yeah, I kind of switched off like 22nd and then came back on the 5th, and I actually managed to relax.
Shock horror.
I know. Well, I obviously am full of sympathy for you having the cold, because obviously it's some nasty stuff going around.
No, it's all fun. It's all fun and games.
Fun and games.
Fun and games. Yeah.
Wow, you do illness very differently.
Yeah. I do illness like a pro.
You do. I'm impressed.
So I was going to say, this is our last ever Fireside, isn't it?
Very sad. Very sad. But don't worry. We're going to make this really dramatic. This is the last ever Fireside. We're never doing another Fireside because
we're going to call it something else.
We are. When we first started this show 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. 5. Wow. We've been mutual acquaintances for almost 5 years, Greg.
Before that.
But when we, true. But when we started this, we didn't have a clue what we were doing, and
still don't, to be fair.
Well, I mean, you would think we would have more of an idea, but yeah, we didn't know what to call the chats, and I just kind of blurted out Firesides, and then that's kind of what they kind of became. So we're approaching episode 90. No, hang on a minute. Episode 100. We're way past 90. Sorry, whoops. Whoops. And we have decided to call them something different, but all will be revealed.
Well, I mean, that's where you the listener, come into this, because
exactly.
We're looking to figure out a new name. So we've had some ideas. Not going to say they're the best ideas.
So I will say some are stronger than others.
But we're looking for a new name for the show, for these kind of like chats. They've been Firesides for a long time. We wanted to make it more photo relevant. So rather than pay hundreds of thousands to a branding consultant, we thought we'd put it out to our audience and do an Instagram poll on it.
Yes, we're very much kind of caution to the wind on this one.
I mean, we'll end up calling it like, I don't know, episodey face or something, won't we? Because that'll be the thing that gets voted in. But
well, it will now.
It's actually my favourite.
Is it good? It is a strong front runner.
We were going to have things. What we're going to have. So we came up with the dev tank. You're going to see a theme quite quickly here. The light table, dark room, lab chats, light box, spooling the reel. I don't know who came up with that one, but
that was you. That was you.
No,
that was not me. Absolutely not. There's no pun in there.
Dodge and burn, dev only, dev and scan, the contact sheet, the loop, China graph chats.
I didn't. But that's like one away from the grease pencil gabber.
Grease pen gang.
The grease pen gang. I quite like that. Sounds like we're going to go rob a bank in the 40s.
Through the viewfinder.
Shooting
the breeze.
You put that one in. Great, thanks. Appreciate that. So anyway, as you can see, we're obviously
the bar's quite low.
The bar's quite low. So if you are listening to this, obviously in the next week or two, please go onto the Instagram where there'll be a poll, and we'll also be asking our wonderful patron subscribers in the WhatsApp group as well. Now, obviously, if you want to join that group, you can join it at patreon.com/expose negative. And obviously, we can kick off the year with a wonderful new batch of you guys joining. But also, if you don't want to join it, well, don't go to that web address.
Simple.
It is that simple.
If you are the winner and you pick the new name for our current Fireside chats, then you'll get a shout out and be forever in our hearts. and minds.
Forever in our hearts and minds. They're not. Quickly, you're not going to die if you enter this competition. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
You are. Everyone is.
You'll have
It's
our
inevitable.
eternal gratitude.
That is inevitable, Tom.
No. Don't. God, it's 2026. We need to kind of kick people off in a good spirit rather than
telling them they're going to die.
Everyone's fine. Don't worry. So listen, let's transition into 2026.
Yes.
A big year. Always is. You know, everyone by now has probably sent out 1 billion emails, which are mainly going to be ignored because obviously it's the first week of January. And yeah, let's talk about New Year's resolutions. Do you have any? Oh, I've got so many New Year's resolutions. I'm going to buy an ISO. I've got a new 8K thing here. You know, so many resolution gags.
Oh dear. No, resolutions. Do I have any? The main one for me is doing more testing this year, doing more personal tests, making use of the studio more.
Yes.
Because I don't know. It's just I've got it. You might as well use it.
Well, you have it, and you pay for it, so you might as well make it earn its keep.
So, but you know, it's one of those things that can quite quickly fall by the wayside when you get kind of other stuff going on, you get busy, you just stop organising tests. But I did one towards the end of last year, and it was really good fun. And it was just nice to, you know, be shooting something you wouldn't normally necessarily shoot, and just trying out something new, trying out some new ideas, and just seeing where it leads. So, yeah, that's definitely on the cards.
Nice.
Probably going to do a bit of a general kind of appraisal of where I'm at, so that I hope that kind of by springtime I'll have maybe a more intentioned kind of approach for moving forward. I think the thing with resolutions is everyone kind of puts big pressure on themselves to kind of come out of the gate, you know, straight away. And actually, it's the way I look at it is it's kind of more time for just thinking and you know, considering your position and then kind of making those changes. But those changes don't have to be immediate. They can be, you know, a bit more like an oil tanker changing course.
Yep.
Probably shouldn't be talking about oil tankers given what's happened in the last couple of days, but
I don't follow the news, so I've got no idea. I hope there's no spillage. But I think you're right. I think the thing about resolutions, I feel that people always put so much pressure on themselves. I mean, we're terrible for it, right? Self-employed people, you know, we kind of want to suddenly have, you know, an instant huge effect. Well, I guess the argument would be, well, why didn't you do it in November? Why didn't you do it in July? You know, so there's no point in suddenly putting all this extra pressure on yourself. Nothing from a business point of view like is really affected by the start of the new year. Most people's budgets don't run, you know, from January 1st and whatnot. So I kind of feel like actually one of my New Year's resolutions is I'm going to go a bit easier on myself. And actually, I think that's probably a decent resolution for quite a lot of people. I think last year was a transformative year for me, like both personally, and it's beginning to become, professionally as well. And I feel that with a lot of the changes, I've really realized nothing happens overnight. A lot of these changes, especially when it comes to kind of perspective changes and how you think about things and things like that, for them to take hold and for them to actually last, they have to be a slower process and you have to work through them. So I'm going to do the same as you. I'm going to use my studio more. I'm going to get it organized and tidied and actually do more work in it. But I'm also just going to look after myself personally a bit more and avoid putting tons of pressure on, because I think that's quite a good thing. You know, if you look after yourself, I'm also going to try and go to bed a bit earlier. So thanks, it's been a great chat. No, but it's, you know, just trying to kind of look after myself, my health, and then everything else will, I'm sure, just kind of come with it. Because the amount of like times that I used to, you know, I've got a tattoo of like a candle burning at both ends because I used to try and work through the night like 2 days in a row. And now I look back on that and be like, what an idiot. Like what did I think genuinely after 2 nights
when
of no
you were
sleep?
getting that tattoo or just...
Well, no, that was a separate thing. But what, like, how what was the quality of work that I was doing after 2 days of being awake? You know, it's ridiculous. So taking a load of pressure off myself is going to be my main aim, I think, this year.
No, I think it's important to kind of give yourself a bit of a break.
Mhm.
And but yeah, like you said, these changes, they take time. I think you've got to have perspective and you've got to fill them out. They're not going to be overnight. And I guess we live in a world where everyone expects everything to be kind of immediate, but
Mhm.
you know, it's going to take time for these changes to take place, and that's okay.
Yeah, 100% is okay. But I feel like in a world, like you say, where everyone expects things are done overnight, you've got all these kind of like Instagram reels and like YouTube shorts of like, here's 10 ways you could become a better person, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to watch any of them because I feel like there's been so much push, especially in maybe our age group, to like be the best we can, like constant self-improvement, that actually very rarely do you actually take a step back and be like, just going to enjoy being me for a bit, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to, try and like, I mean, obviously I always try and improve, but I'm not going to put any pressure on myself to do it. And I'm not going to try any of these like crazy regimes and like, all these kind of massive changes and stuff. I'm like, no, do you know what? I am just going to just try and relax and enjoy where I'm at a little bit more than the past couple of years, because it's been a pretty like hard working few years. I'm sure this year will be the same, right? I don't have any kind of illusions, but I do feel if we're all a bit kinder to ourselves, I mean, that can't be a bad thing.
Amen to that. Amen to
So,
that.
and now I'm off to go and stay on a yoga retreat. Actually, I can't do that. I couldn't. I'd be the worst person on a
I'd
yoga
love
retreat.
to see you on a silent retreat.
So someone I know is like currently on a 2-week silent retreat. And before he went, he was like, "Oh, what do you think about it?" I was like, I couldn't even do 2 seconds. Like genuinely. So yeah, I'd be awful. I'd be escorted straight out.
I'd make for great TV though, just to keep your camera on you, just to kind of watch you kind of twitching.
Well, slowly exploding inside.
Especially if you kind of a pun came to mind and you just wanted to blurt it out.
Oh,
You wouldn't be able to hold yourself back.
Yeah, but what do you do if you're all there doing yoga at a silent retreat and something funny happens, like like a picture tilts on a wall or like falls off the wall or like somebody farts? What do you all just kind of look at each other and go?
I don't think they're necessarily always silent retreats. Aren't necessarily yoga retreats.
No, true. I have no idea why I conflate the two. I'm sure they're completely different. I do. Also, some people can't do yoga in silence. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway,
No.
bizarre. So, New Year's resolutions: use your studio more, be better to yourself. Can I tell you one that I am really going to
Does it
try?
involve kit?
Yes, but not in the way you think it does.
Okay, go on.
This year, I'm really going to try and learn how to use every aspect of the kit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to just use the stuff that I use all the time.
Right.
I'm going to deep dive and really try to get to know the kit I own. I'm going to try my best. Sorry, I'm going to try my best not to buy any new kit. I'm not going to say I'm not, because obviously I'm a photographer where there will be kit that we need to buy. But one thing I am going to ask myself is, why am I buying that? If the answer is, I just fancy it, well, that's not a good enough reason. So I won't buy it. And so now I'm questioning every time I kind of like go down like a bit of a black hole at night, just, researching, audio recorders or something like that. I'm like, no, hang on. Why am I doing this? Is it because I need an audio recorder, or is it because I just, fancy some sort of new bit of kit? Am I just trying to get a dopamine hit? Yeah. And I feel like we've talked about this previously. We've got, as photographers, to stop normalizing, oh, I've got gas, whoa, all of that kind of malarkey. We all buy too much kit. I'm really trying to bring that level as down as possible. I'm again not doing anything crazy like, the great simplification or anything like that. But I think if we're all honest with ourselves, we all have too much stuff. We all also buy extra kit because it's an easy thing to do, right? And it's an easy thing to kind of like not kid yourself, but it's like, oh, I'll be better if I get this, or this will open up this part. And realistically, does anything ever really change? Probably not.
No, it's
Obviously, if you want to
a
be a photographer,
dopamine. Yeah.
exactly. Obviously, if you want to be a photographer, you need to buy a camera, right? That will open a door. But if you are just buying kit because you think it might, you know, change how you shoot, or it might kind of like open you up to different clients, that isn't how this stuff works. And we kid ourselves, and we're like the world's biggest con men, because we are constantly talking ourselves into, oh, I'll just buy that because it's a really good price, or I'll just get that because it'd be maybe useful at some other point, or I'll just get that because my client might end up paying for the rental of it. And you go, this feels a bit like we're just trying to kind of excuse this sort of thing. And I think actually, if we as photographers all started like, talking less about having gas and more about really what it is. And it's a lot for a lot of people, especially for me. I'm obviously only speaking from experience, but a lot of the time for me, it was kind of like a distraction tactic. It's very easy to buy a new bit of kit and think that you're the bee's knees, as opposed to doing some genuine hard work and getting rejected from 30 emails. God, what would I rather do? Would I rather kind of pitch out to 30 people and either not hear back or get rejected? Or would I spend, something, X amount on a new light or something?
Yeah. And it's kind of like the, I think there's also something to be said of the kind of the research that gets put into something before you make that choice. There's a kind of addictiveness to that researching and reading up about it and feeling like, oh yeah, making that decision is all part of it, isn't it? There's a draw to that.
Yeah, I think actually, I mean, how many people, when you research the kit, you're really excited about it, and then when you order it, you're like, oh, cool, can't wait for it to arrive, and it would arrive, and you go, all right, it's here now, is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Sits in the box for the next week.
Yeah, literally, and you kind of go, well, clearly you didn't want it that much. If it's obviously not needed if you haven't ripped it straight out and put it on the rig or whatnot. And it's kind of like all of these things. And I've had like obviously quite a big talk with myself over the Christmas holidays and just kind of going, well, no, actually, really, what is the why about, why are you buying that? If the answer is just fancy it, it's not really a good enough reason. And my resolution is that actually, if I'm kind of going down that hole, I'll catch myself quite early, and then I'll just basically go, gotcha, go off and do something productive. And I will do that to myself. I look a bit mad. I'm like, what? No.
Just walking down the street.
Yeah. Spin around, being like, no. So, but can I, right. Talking about gear, in the same breath as doing this, I'd love to show you a why purchase that I'm really pleased with. Right?
Go on.
And so I was getting frustrated that I'd spend a lot of time working on my retouch and grading. And I'd wake up the following day, or I'd kind of like look at it the following evening and be like, that doesn't feel how I felt it looked when I was kind of working on it, right? And obviously your eyes play tricks and all that kind of malarkey. So I decided to do a deep dive on this and figure out what was causing my kind of maybe not inconsistency, but basically my personal kind of thoughts about my work. Because I was sending it to clients and they were like, these look great. And I'm like, yeah, that's not quite how I thought it looked. And so I started doing a deep dive on it. And I was just like, well, actually, I've got a massive, great window in my office. And when it's really bright outside, the light level in the office just skyrockets. And there's also there's a door over there. And then there's light coming in from there. And there's a lot of different color temperatures. And I was like, actually, no, hang on a minute. Let me go down this kind of just bizarre route of researching what it is that I would have to do to get perfect consistency.
Mm.
So I started kind of like doing a deep dive into it, and kind of, realizing that, try and get all the lights to the same color temperature, try and get obviously bias lighting, which I did have, but it turns out my bias lighting was too strong. And so everything is now dialed in. And I was like, I wonder if I can get something that would really, at like a second's glance, tell me if I'm in the right ballpark for brightness in the office and color temperature in the office, right? Because everyone always talks about calibrating your screens, but
Calibrating your environment is
but I don't think I've ever had a conversation with someone about it. And I was like, well, hang on a minute, what about this? There's got to be something to it, right? So I started doing a deep dive, and there's a bit of info, but there's a lot of people saying paint your walls 18% gray, and kind of like, I've done that. It is a miserable place to be. Like, if you want to get very sad very quickly, paint your walls 18% gray. It's not like a nice, cool, fun, inspiring place to come and work.
See, I got that the wrong way around. I only painted 80% of my wall.
Oh, very good. Just the top 18.
Didn't make a jot of difference. But no, I think
very good.
It is hard, isn't it? Because I used to have a white light up above that was for, if I just wanted a light on in the studio. But I've actually swapped it out recently for a warm white, just because in the winter, and I had it as a white light because I was worried about kind of, will it affect? And maybe having the warm white is going to radically send all my images massively off now. But actually, from an ambient point of view of sitting in a nice space, it's so much nicer to sit in what feels more like a cozy space.
So I hear you completely. And so what I have done is I had Philips Hue bulbs in all my lights, right? I've always liked them because
Did he not need them?
Say again? Philip
not need them.
No, he didn't. He was fine. Okay. He was fine. He was a little bit angry when I left him in the dark.
Stole his bulbs, yeah.
Stole his bulbs. But the nice thing about these is, the nice thing is you can, I kind of felt like I was getting them like relatively close to 5,600 Kelvin, right? And then I couldn't.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know. Like, what's like, my eyesight cannot judge Kelvin. It just, it can judge roughly, but it won't be able to judge it to the, plus minus 100 or whatever it is we need to get to. And I bought ages ago on Kickstarter. And it's been, I know I've talked about it on the show before. It is by a company called Revini Labs. A guy called Matt it's just a single guy who runs it. Well, I don't know his marital status, but he's just a guy. He's a guy on his own who runs the company. Sorry, Matt. Sorry, Matt. But he's a brilliant guy, right? He's a brilliant guy. The light meter, the Lumo, I think it's called, is one of my favorite bits of kit I've ever bought. It's not very expensive, and it's a brilliant little light meter. I'll show you this one here. It is, we're used to light meters being quite big, and if I show you, this is my AirPods Pro case. This is for a size comparison. That is the Lumo, right? Yep. It's a tiny little thing. It's the problem is I've got quite big hands, but look how it's honestly it's about the length of my thumb, and it's a really, really tiny little thing. Now I reached out to Matt, and I've reached out to him quite a few times. He is probably, bless him, sick of hearing from me, but I've asked for various features, which he has then very kindly added. And he's been super reactive. I think we've talked about this in the past.
Yeah,
anyway,
we have,
I think Matt's brilliant, right? And so I reached out to him. I was like, Matt, listen, how easy would it be for you to make me a device that could be USB powered and sit in my office and tell me the lux and the color temperature of my office? And he goes, oh, right, yeah. Well, we wouldn't build a new device. Just buy one of these light meters and I'll just stick a custom firmware on it for you. And so he did. He literally, look at this. So now, all it does on this little Lumo is it tells me the lux and color temperature of my office. And so if I now, because we're talking about Philips Hue, I can then turn on my Philips Hue bulbs like this. Ready? So we come here. So retouch. And so I can tell you that I am 40.9 lux at 5600 Kelvin. Now my aim is to get to 40 lux. And I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good thing. And having the Lumo, let me kind of go back here. Oh, look at that, bit of mood. Having that I can literally just turn on, and it's not USB powered, because when I did power it over USB, because it's the firmware's a bit funky, but I didn't want to take the mickey with Matt. But I only ever need it to turn it on, see what the lux and white balance are doing, and then turn it off. And it's been brilliant for me to get consistent readings in the office. So I know when it is sunny outside and it's suddenly 100 and whatever lux in here, I just, close the blind a little bit, get it down to 40. And then I know that my environment for editing images is always that thing. So they are always consistent. So, and it's really made my confidence go up in a lot of it, because now I'm no longer looking at night
second guessing it. Yeah,
I'm not second guessing it at all. I go, cool, that's great, happy with that, out it goes. And I spent so much of the past couple of years going back and looking at other and re-editing. No, none of that. I'm like, cool, that looks good, out the door, happy with that, straight into the portfolio, brilliant. And so Matt, you have been an absolute dream for me, so thank you ever so much. But it has been like an interesting thing to have done, is to get that consistency.
Yeah. So we've crossed from not buying any kit to the piece of kit that you bought that's actually made the big difference.
Yes, but here's the thing. Obviously I'm going to shout.
You got this last year though, didn't you?
This came in at the like second week in December.
Yeah.
So, but it's been really nice. But I got the original one on Kickstarter like a year ago, I think, and I rave about the thing.
Yeah. Well, we'll link to to his website anyway, because as you said, it's proved useful, and if anyone's in the market for a new light meter, this could be the one for them.
Yeah, I will also say, if you buy like the regular light meter, you can set it up to show you lux and Kelvin.
Yeah.
So you don't need to buy one specifically to use in the office. I think only mad people would do that. So
I'm saying nothing, Tom.
but it's been, it's little things like that if you can, as self-employed creative people, we are very good at filling our mind with doubt very quickly. And so now I'm on a mission to try and eradicate those kind of like
doubt and distraction. They're the two main enemies, aren't they?
Exactly. And so if I stop buying kit, well, that's no longer a distraction. And if I learn how to use the kit that I already have, well, that lessens the doubt. So I kind of feel like it's not a bad thing.
And there endeth today's lesson.
Was that preachy? I don't think that was. No, okay. Is this? Hang on, you've got.
I'm just trying to bring the show to a close.
I've got a WhatsApp. Stop being so preachy. Yes, we get it. Matt's great. Oh, Greg, dude, come on. For the record, Matt is great. So
for the record, I didn't send that WhatsApp.
No, he didn't. No, I'm making things up. But yeah, listen. Thank you ever so much for listening. So this is going to be a short one because I have to jump on a call. But Greg, it's great to be back for our 5th year.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
That was the wrong reaction. Yes. Pumped. Woo, 2026. Here we go.
Punch in the air.
Yeah.
And I feel like now is a good time to say, chin up, everyone. No.
Okay,
no.
Chin up, everyone.
No, chin up, everyone. 2026. Good things, I'm sure. Keep fighting a good fight. Keep going. Perseverance, resilience. We're a pretty solid bunch as far as problem solving and resilience go. So just remember that, and also just remember you're not alone.
Yeah,
there is a lot of people going through whatever you're going through right now, even though it does feel like you might be doing it alone.
That is a big one. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I've heard from a lot of people this year basically saying that they'd had some pretty tough times last year, And then I had, people that I'd not been speaking to all the time, but been in and out of contact with and hadn't been aware of what they've been going through. So I think there's always, that is an important lesson, is always to check in with each other, because I do think that as freelancers, it can be quite easy to think you're just going through it on your own. But actually, there's a lot of other people that will have been through exactly what you're going through. And we're more than willing to kind of lend an ear when you need it.
100%.
I think that's one thing our little Patreon WhatsApp group have found really helpful, actually, is occasionally they'll go on there and they'll have a dozen other people suddenly turn around and within seconds respond back being like, "Oh, don't worry, mate, you'll be fine. I've been through that. It's okay. If there's anything we can do, let us know." So it's, it's important to have those support networks around you.
It is. I mean, I don't get that support from our group. I will say, whenever I post something, it's normally a pun, and I just get lots of eye roll emojis. So
that's your fault.
Well, arguable. Okay, so listen, on that, I feel like we should sign off the last ever Fireside.
Yes.
And can't wait to see what we call it for the next one. Actually, do you know what? The next episode is brilliant, because we have got Isabel Duran from the AOP coming up, and it was a super interesting chat. So, enjoy that one, and we'll catch you on the next chat.
Ta-da for now.
Ta-da.